There is a stillness in the mind of a Sigma male, an inner sanctuary untouched by noise, free from the pull of superficial drama. In that silence, he watches, he senses, he discerns. Others may move with loud intentions, obvious agendas, or hidden strings, but the Sigma sees deeper. He senses the currents beneath the surface. Often we think destroying enemies means combat, shouting, and explosiveness. But for a high-value man, destruction is subtle. It is the quiet deconstruction of hidden motives, the removal of corruption, and the erosion of influence without fanfare. He does not wage war with obvious weapons. He uses observation, leverage, boundaries, and truth as his tools. In this video, we explore how Sigma males detect the faintest flicker of a hidden agenda and dismantle it, often before the other party even realizes they're under scrutiny. We will not dive into grand confrontations or cinematic battles. Instead, we will walk through the calm, methodical strategies a man of depth employs, subtle, moral, and effective. If you ever sense that someone's motives around you are more than what they appear, that there is a whisper, a double layer, a concealed pattern, this is for you. You will learn how to become more attuned, more resilient, and more empowered, and not for the purpose of feeding conflict, but to maintain clarity, sovereignty, and peace. As you listen, let your mind slow. Imagine yourself as a still lake at dawn, the ripples faint but telling. Let every point land gently, like a stone dropped in deep water, expanding outward. This is not about attack. It is about mastery. Perceiving more, acting less, and preserving dignity. We now move into the 6 principles a Sigma male uses to spot hidden agendas and quietly neutralize them. Number 1, micro discrepancies become clues. When someone carries a hidden agenda, their words and actions begin to lose harmony. Small inconsistencies slip through like cracks in a mask. The story they told yesterday doesn't perfectly match the one they tell today. The tone shifts slightly when certain topics arise. A once confident commitment suddenly becomes vague. Even memories seem to reshape themselves with subtle edits that betray something deeper. Psychologists refer to this as micro-incongruence, the subconscious leakage of truth through behavior and language. It's rarely obvious at first, but to a trained observer like a Sigma male, these discrepancies are as revealing as fingerprints. A Sigma doesn't rely on emotion or confrontation to expose deception. He relies on quiet observation. His power lies in pattern recognition, the ability to notice what most overlook. When a person's energy doesn't align with their words, he doesn't rush to accuse. Instead, he watches, he listens, he takes mental notes of every small shift, every contradiction, every instance where someone's truth seems rehearsed. Over time, these fragments form a picture far more accurate than any confession. Neuroscience supports this instinct. The human brain is wired to detect inconsistencies, and those who practice mindfulness and emotional detachment, traits often found in Sigmas, have a heightened ability to recognize them. In the world of social dynamics, deception thrives on distraction. Most people are too busy reacting emotionally to notice inconsistencies. But the Sigma's detachment becomes his advantage. He studies tone, timing, and even silence. He notices when enthusiasm fades after a question, when eye contact breaks at the wrong moment, or when a person's phrasing becomes evasive. These are not random occurrences. They are signs of mental strain caused by maintaining a false narrative. Over time, every lie requires maintenance, and the weight of inconsistency exposes the truth. A Sigma doesn't react impulsively when he identifies deception. Instead, he allows the mask to collapse naturally. His patience is strategic. While others demand answers, he gathers evidence. This makes him nearly impossible to manipulate. In a world where words can deceive but patterns rarely lie, the Sigma male stands as a silent investigator. His calm presence disarms others, his awareness reveals what's hidden, and his restraint ensures that the truth comes to light on its own. In the end, it's not aggression that uncovers a hidden agenda. It's attention, precision, and the quiet intelligence of a man who truly sees. Number 2, emotional echoes over words. Words can be rehearsed, polished, and perfected, but what truly reveals a person's intention lies in the subtleties they can't control. A Sigma male knows that human communication is not merely about speech. It's about vibration, timing, and tone. In psychology, this is known as paralanguage. The unspoken elements of speech, such as pitch, hesitation, volume, and pacing, that carry emotional meaning beyond words. When someone says, "I'm fine," through tight lips or with a slight delay, the Sigma hears the discord between the words and the emotional frequency behind them. He listens with a level of presence that most people never develop, one that picks up the micro fluctuations of truth hiding beneath performance. In social interactions, most people focus on what's being said, not what's being revealed. A Sigma listens for emotional leakage, the moments when someone's internal state seeps through their mask. He notices when a person over-explains, when they use humor to deflect vulnerability, or when their tone sharpens at the mention of a sensitive subject. These are not coincidences, they're signals. Neuroscience calls this the limbic leak, when the emotional brain betrays the rational facade. This allows the Sigma to perceive intention before it's openly stated, giving him an advantage in understanding others without being deceived by charm or confidence. A Sigma male's attention works like sonar. He detects hidden scripts in conversation, the defensiveness in someone pretending to be assertive, the overcompensation of someone masking insecurity, or the sudden stillness when truth approaches uncomfortable territory. In essence, he decodes human behavior as a language of energy, not just expression. Where others react, he observes. Where others rush to fill silence, he waits. And in that silence, he finds more truth than words could ever reveal. Studies in emotional intelligence and micro-expression analysis back this up. Only 7% of communication is verbal, while the rest is conveyed through tone, facial expression, and body language. The Sigma understands this intuitively. His stillness and patience make others reveal themselves naturally. He doesn't interrogate. He listens long enough for people to expose their motives through the vibrations of their own speech. In a world obsessed with speaking, the Sigma's power lies in hearing what others don't say. His quiet awareness becomes his armor, his perception, his protection, and through that, he remains both mysterious and unshakably aware of the truths hidden in plain sight. Number 3, silence as probe. Instead of responding immediately, the Sigma often remains quiet. That pause is not empty, it's intentional. In human psychology, silence is known to trigger a natural discomfort called the need for closure. Most people are deeply uncomfortable with uncertainty. So when a Sigma male doesn't rush to fill the silence, others unconsciously try to. They begin to speak more, explain more, and in doing so, reveal more. This dynamic is not manipulation, it's observation. The Sigma uses silence as a mirror, reflecting people's intentions back at them. In negotiation studies, this is called the silent probe technique, where the quiet party gains information simply by allowing others to talk themselves into clarity or contradiction. The Sigma's quietness, therefore, becomes a subtle form of psychological inquiry, one rooted in patience and precision. Silence also operates as a form of social contrast. In a world addicted to noise, where most people speak to prove relevance, the one who stays silent stands out. That stillness communicates control, and control breeds curiosity. People start to wonder what the Sigma is thinking, what he knows, or what he's about to say. This curiosity often leads them to over-explain their motives, and in that expansion, hidden agendas rise to the surface. It's a timeless psychological truth. People expose more of themselves when they feel unseen or unheard for too long. The Sigma understands this not through theory, but through instinct. His silence is not withdrawal, it's strategy. Even neuroscience supports this power. Studies show that silence activates the brain's default mode network, the region linked with introspection and heightened awareness. By staying quiet, the Sigma not only observes others more deeply, but also sharpens his own perception. He notices micro-expressions, tone shifts, and inconsistencies that loud people miss. What seems like detachment is actually deep engagement without verbal interference. In essence, silence becomes both shield and sword, protecting his peace while cutting through pretense. The moment others feel compelled to explain themselves, the Sigma learns what they truly want, what they fear, and how sincere they are. In this way, his silence becomes a gentle yet powerful interrogation, not through confrontation, but through composure. Number 4, testing with small boundaries. Rather than engaging in open confrontation, Sigma males often operate through subtle psychological calibration. Instead of accusing or arguing, they quietly test boundaries to reveal the true intentions of those around them. This is a hallmark of emotional intelligence and social awareness. A Sigma might, for example, make a small request that requires accountability, asking a friend to return a favor, or setting a gentle limit on time or access. They might reduce how much they share, take longer to respond, or impose a light condition to see if the other person respects it. These are not manipulative acts, they're diagnostic tools. The Sigma isn't looking for conflict, but for clarity. This approach is grounded in behavioral psychology. When people's hidden motives are tested, their true character often surfaces. A person with genuine care or respect will adapt without resistance. They'll honor the new boundary naturally because their intentions were sincere to begin with. But someone with a hidden agenda will show discomfort when they lose control or access. They might guilt trip, rationalize, or use emotional manipulation to restore their advantage. This behavior exposes what psychologists call contingent investment, relationships based on benefit rather than connection. The moment the benefit changes, so does their loyalty. Such testing allows Sigma males to separate authenticity from opportunism. It's not about paranoia, but about observing patterns. When you subtly alter the dynamics, you create what behavioral scientists call disconfirmation, a moment when the other person's expectations no longer align with reality. Their reaction to that disconfirmation reveals the foundation of their investment. If it's solid, the relationship steadies. If it's hollow, cracks appear immediately. In essence, boundaries are truth filters. This practice also reflects the Sigma's deeper self-protection mechanism. Because they value independence and peace over validation, they don't need to expose deceit through confrontation. They prefer observation. By lowering emotional noise and watching reactions, they gather more accurate data about people's nature. It's a quiet power move, a form of social aikido where energy is redirected rather than resisted. Over time, this ability to detect insincerity early becomes a natural radar. Through patience and discernment, the Sigma learns that hidden agendas don't need to be fought. They simply reveal themselves when truth is applied like gentle pressure. Number 5, redirecting to principle. You seldom defeat hidden agendas through confrontation or by exposing flaws because doing so often strengthens a person's defensiveness rather than dissolving their deceit. The real power lies in shifting the discussion from personality to principle. When you calmly say, I value transparency, I value integrity, I expect alignment between words and actions, you're not attacking anyone. You are setting a moral mirror before them. This approach is not just psychological wisdom, it's rooted in centuries of diplomacy and philosophy. Socrates, for example, dismantled falsehoods, not by shaming individuals, but by invoking universal truths, asking questions that led others to reveal inconsistencies in their own reasoning. Likewise, great leaders and negotiators throughout history have known that principles disarm manipulation. When someone operates with hidden motives, they thrive in emotional chaos and personal disputes. They rely on misdirection and confusion to control the narrative. But when you introduce virtue, integrity, accountability, and honesty, you pull the conversation into the light where deception struggles to survive. In psychological terms, this triggers what's known as cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort that arises when someone's actions no longer align with their professed values. Rather than arguing over who's right or wrong, you hold up a higher standard that appeals to reason and conscience. Over time, hidden agendas often collapse under this gentle pressure because deceit requires darkness and principles create light. In professional environments, this is the essence of ethical leadership. By defining the conversation through shared values rather than accusations, you invite clarity, not conflict. It's a method used in conflict resolution, therapy, and diplomacy alike, focusing not on ego, but on alignment. In personal life, this same practice guards your peace. When you frame your boundaries around principles instead of emotions, manipulators lose their leverage. They can twist your words, but they cannot twist integrity itself. What dissolves manipulation isn't louder argument. It's quiet strength anchored in moral clarity. In the end, you win not by defeating a person, but by revealing the truth so clearly that deception can no longer breathe. Number 6, quiet disconnection. In many cases, the final act of destroying is not dramatic at all. It's a quiet withdrawal, a soft, dignified, and final retreat from the chaos. You don't argue, you don't explain, and you don't seek revenge. You simply step away. This is the Sigma male's way of ending battles that no longer serve his peace. Rather than waging emotional wars or proving points, he chooses absence as his weapon. Psychologically, this method is rooted in what experts call emotional detachment, a mature coping mechanism that protects one's mental clarity and self-respect. It's the art of disengaging without bitterness, understanding that not every situation deserves your energy. When you reduce interaction, remove influence, and stop feeding toxicity with your attention, you create a vacuum that often speaks louder than confrontation ever could. People feel your absence more than your anger. In behavioral psychology, this principle mirrors the extinction response. When reinforcement is withdrawn, the behavior it sustains gradually fades. When you stop reacting to manipulation, gossip, or provocation, those behaviors lose their power. That's the Sigma's quiet brilliance. He understands that silence is not weakness, it's strategy. It's a form of self-governance that places peace above ego. The world glorifies dominance through noise, but the Sigma practices dominance through calm. He doesn't slam doors, he closes them softly. This subtle exit is what confuses those driven by drama, because they expect retaliation, not restraint, and that's precisely why it's so effective. There's also a philosophical depth to this approach. In Stoicism, detachment from toxic situations is seen as strength, the ability to control one's reactions regardless of external chaos. The Sigma embodies that. He knows that constantly engaging with conflict dilutes his focus and drains his spiritual and mental reserves. Sometimes the most powerful statement isn't made through words, but through withdrawal. Walking away, maintaining composure, and refusing to participate in emotional battles transforms the narrative. You're no longer reacting, you're leading. Over time, this quiet dignity becomes your armor and your message. Those who once underestimated you begin to understand the weight of your silence. For the Sigma, destruction doesn't come through aggression, it comes through evolution. The moment he decides to protect his peace, everything that threatens it begins to lose its grip. That's how he wins, calmly, completely, and without looking back. These 6 strategies reflect the essence of psychological mastery, rather than brute dominance. Sigma males understand that real power isn't proven through confrontation, but through restraint. In psychology, this is known as emotional regulation, the ability to stay centered while others lose control. By practicing awareness, integrity, and calm strength, you're training your nervous system to respond rather than react. A sign of emotional intelligence. Discernment becomes your invisible shield. When you observe subtle inconsistencies, tone shifts, body language mismatches, or manipulation cloaked in flattery, you quietly recalibrate your response. Silence, often underestimated, becomes your greatest ally. It forces others to reveal themselves, exposing their motives without you lifting a finger. By testing gently and withdrawing when necessary, you preserve energy and protect peace. Over time, this mindful detachment turns into a 6th sense. You start detecting deception or hidden motives before they unfold. This isn't coldness, it's clarity. As you move through your week, embody this awareness in small actions. Listen more, speak less, guard your reactions. Eventually, hidden agendas will no longer surprise you. They'll be obvious, transparent, and powerless. Stay grounded, stay observant, and remember, your calm is your most unshakable form of strength.